is Big 4-5.
Big 4-5, 45, yeah?
Yo.
Fair
Big
play
4-5,
to you
no
guys. Fair
safety.
play.
Yeah, no,
Big
about time.
4-5.
I've been looking forward to this number. So, Made in Chafford Podcast, episode 45. Yeah, special guest in the building, man. JYellowL. I mean, I'll let everyone else introduce themselves first, and then we'll dive into your whole career and everything. So, Cole, tell the people about you.
First name Collins, but call me Cole Sanusi, Cole, whatever works. But yeah, you know what time it is.
Eman?
Man, the God fam. Eman the Prophet.
Eman the Prophet, yeah?
Is that how we're coming?
That's how we're coming, bro.
That's how you're feeling this
Energy.
I love it. Demi, you already know. So, massive guest, JYellowL, the Irish sensation himself, man. It's real.
Yes.
Obviously, I found out about you because Colin's putting a song of yours in our playlist, and since then we've been rocking with you, man. So it's so good to have you on.
Man, shout out to you, Collins. Appreciate that.
No worries, my guy. No worries.
Oh,
I heard it through... I'm trying to think of the journey of finding your music because it was a couple of ways. The first way was through Spotify, so I think they create certain playlists for you.
Yeah.
So I heard quote unquote on there, and I was like, wow, this is a good song. And I was surprised to do my research and find out you were from Ireland. Do you know what I mean? That sounded like a proper like gritty type song. And then from there, I grabbed FIFA when it was on sale during quarantine, and then I heard your song on FIFA, so I did the research that way.
On FIFA. This is a W.
Wait, no, trust. Wait, so you only got FIFA in like March? Man.
You know what I do? I take seasonal breaks from FIFA because that game gets me mad. I don't know about you, but
I swear
that game is frustrating sometimes. But yeah, I grabbed it during quarantine and heard your song on there, and I was like, nah, this guy. I like the content. I think the production is sick. Your bars are good, so I'm just glad like you reached out when we put you on the playlist. So it just kind of happened naturally, which is always nice.
Yeah, man, 100%.
For me, what interested me most about yourself is I can't really, and I like it when I can't do this with a rapper, but I can't really describe you, if that makes sense. Like if someone said, yo, what's his sound? Because you can spit, you've got a good vibe to you as well. It's not the sing along sort of rap as well. If someone asks you, how would you describe yourself?
I won't lie, it's tough as well for me because I think for myself, I'm also trying to not put myself in a box in that way as well. So it's good when I hear people say, oh yeah, I don't know how to describe you in that, because that's kind of what I was going for. Because, sometimes you go to, like, we're multifaceted just as individuals anyway. And then when it comes to making music, you don't want to just make one type of music, or even if it's like sectioned off to a genre, you don't want to, like, you want to explore in that genre and like have a fusion with other things as well. Like, think about all the music you listen to. I'm sure you don't just listen to like one style of music. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's that same kind of thing when you're listening to music and when you're making music. You want to kind of explore. You enjoy different sounds as well, and you kind of want to hear yourself on different sounds. You want to hear yourself try different things. So I guess predominantly the only thing that I'd say is constant through my music is the content, because that's what I always try and deliver. Like, I always want to have something to say, like something meaningful to say, as opposed to just like lyrics for the sake of lyrics, or just bars for the sake of bars. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did
What was your inspiration into your, like, the start of the journey? Like, what inspired you to start music?
So what it was mad because I only really took it on as a career in 6th year here, which is like I don't know what year that is for you guys. I think that's like year 12. What's the year you do your GCSEs or whatever before you go into
11?
Before you go to uni?
Yeah.
So that's year 13.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
And that's the year you have to do exams to find out what you want to do in uni and get like the course you want. Yeah. So that was that year for me here. We call it 6th year, and was like, I was in the institute, some school where it's like very grades focused and everything. And all of the talk of, obviously I'm from I have African parents, so it's like, oh, dentist, doctor, lawyer, engineer, and all of this, and none of it excited me at all. I didn't want to do it. I think in that year I just happened to come across like a really good friend of mine now. At the time when I just met him, I kind of I rapped for him, I played him some music, and he was like, yo, like, you're sick, man. This is like, if you had 10 songs of this, like that sounded like this, I'd buy a whole album, and et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, okay, maybe there is potential here, actual potential. And in Ireland, there's not a lot of infrastructure for music, and it's not seen as like, not many people make it like out of here through music, especially not hip hop. So it was kind of a big risk. So it was also that that challenge of daring to do it as well that kind of inspired me. Like, oh, what if I'm the one that does? In fact, I'm gonna make sure I'm the one that does it. And because not like I didn't have options, because I still did go to college and like university. I still did do that. I graduated, but I really never saw myself trying to do something that I wasn't really passionate about for the rest of my life. Like that's daunting, you know what I mean?
You studied politics, right?
Yeah.
How did what was where did that come from? Like, because obviously we're like African based as well, so my background was in like maths, and I ended up being an accountant. So obviously your parents even tell you the list that you just already said. So how did you end up going down the politics route? What was that from?
I think I've always been very politically inclined. I think also because I moved to Ireland when I was in my teens. I was 14 when I came straight from Nigeria. So I was very and like, I mean, when you get into school, especially around teenagers, like kids can be very hellish. So that's where you actually get aware of like your socioeconomic standing, like where you are as in, and where you fit into like the overall society. And I think that kind of gave me my political awakening, if you like, because then I started noticing things like, you know, an equal distribution of wealth and all of that kind of stuff, and just the way perception based on your socioeconomic stand, all of that stuff, and then you know, racism and just culture, all of those things combined just kind of made me do more research into politics and want to be more political and just kind of understand it more. And because I just knew I didn't want to be in that situation for long, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, what I'm really interested in is just how, I know that the internet exists, so it's not about how you find hip hop in Ireland, but like, I guess just to have the bravery to do it, because I'm more than certain it's not, you know, the most popular genre out there, and you know, it's starting to change a bit. So, for example, I think JB2 is from Ireland. He's probably one of the more popular acts from out there. But how does one, like, I don't know, get into it, and just what was your journey with hip hop and rap?
Man, it was tough because, like I said, we don't have any infrastructure, so there's no one to look up to in terms of, oh, this person did it like that, so I have to do it like this, and then I have to follow their footsteps. You don't have that, so everything you're doing is trial by error, you know, trial and error, you know what I mean? So you're kind of figuring it out as you go along. So for me, it's just started with, okay, how do I make the music? You know, I need to find a producer, I need to find instrumental, I need to find a studio to record, and then, okay, let me start with my area right now. Okay, this is where I am now. How do I make everyone here aware of my music, and like let them think let me convince them that I'm sick first, and let them back me, and then take it from there and just figure it out as you go. And I just had that approach. So I went my school, my area, everyone. I made sure everyone was aware of my music. I was like shamelessly promoting every day. You know, I come into school, my speaker, like blasting my music, and just to make sure everyone knew what it was. You get me? So I'd get the teachers to play the music before class and all, like, just like, I'm like, yo, please, just 2 minutes before class. You don't even have to play the whole thing. Like, just let everyone in your class know what I want. And then I stand there by the door to make sure they do it. And so it was an actual, like, that's not a thing that you're meant to do. I'm pretty sure. But like I say, it was just kind of figuring it out, like knocking on doors, like the radio stations, they weren't playing no Irish hip hop at the time. Nothing. Like there were people who were rapping and doing that kind of stuff, but it's very, very underground. So having to go to the radio stations and like literally going to the building and be like, who do I talk to get my song on radio? And then they just give you the run around here and there, and they tell you email this person and that person. Those people never get back, and then somehow, a few years later, they're asking you for your songs and that. So
it's always.
It's beautiful to see, man, because the journey you've made and the progress you've made is actually quite remarkable. Like, I feel like some people wait their whole career to do certain things, and you've been touring, you've got your song on certain like outlets such as FIFA, as we said earlier, and I think it's good for the scene. Like even for people like us, like we're from like we're based in Essex, which is just outside London. A few of us were born in London and moved out, so it's hard to get your platform to the masses in that type of way. Do you know what I mean? Like I've only even heard of Reggie Snow as far as like as an Irish rapper. So for you to come across our radar as well, it's a testament to that. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Your work ethic.
And that's also mad. Oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say that's crazy because like I said, even the fact that you guys from Essex, wherever, could stumble across music, that's crazy. Even for me now, that's still crazy.
What for you was a bit of a, I mean, you'll have many more moments like this, but what for you was a bit of an sort of made it moment or a massive checklist? Obviously the FIFA, but I also saw you at Spotify's offices as well. That's a good look.
Yeah. I think I've never actually had a feeling of I made it, because I'm always so on to the next. And again, what like I say, like say if you look at my social media, like you're seeing the highlights, you get me? And those highlights are very, very few.
This boy's had some nice highlights.
Some nice highlights.
Hey, yo, he was teaching Ray Shimmer a thing or two, Slim Jimmy, and then he was also trying to give JID the work as well on the table.
No, I gave them the work. Don't get twisted.
Nigerians in table tennis, you don't play.
No, you don't play with Nigerians in table tennis. Man, come on. That was even in the backyard as well. Ireland had to do it. But but like those are the highlights. You know what I mean? I'm not out here with Slim Jimmy and JID every week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if you look through my social media, you're seeing the best bits, but they're actually very few and far between from like the trials, like the times where I'm trying and failing and just things that don't work out. You know what I'm saying? But the moment that I'd say was the biggest for me so far was, apart from the FIFA thing, and I know it's gonna sound very romantic right now, but the day that I decided to release my first song, like the first day I had that courage to actually be like, yo, let me just put it out there and whatever happens, happens. That's the first time that I ever really felt like, nah, I'm actually living my dream, because whatever happens from this moment onwards, I couldn't have fathomed it yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was a powerful moment for me. So I always refer to that as like my rebirth or some shit, like some corny shit like that. But it was
nice, real, man.
Great time for real.
Now your mindset is inspiring. It's the hunger, really. It's that hunger all rappers have, to make it out of their current situation. And it shows even things like, you laugh, but having the foresight to be like, yo, to the teacher, let the song just play, let it breathe. And I'm a massive believer in that. Not enough rappers, in my opinion, do that. Is you've got to be big in where you're from, in your school. If your people ain't rocking with you, no one is. And that's something I think we've tried to do over the last years, try to make sure, if you live in Chafford or you live in Thurrock, you know who we are. Like we're the spot. So I respect your journey, definitely.
Nah, likewise, man. Likewise. Right.
So I think that's a good segue into the next topic. So obviously, man's got a song on FIFA. That's a massive W. We have to celebrate the wins round here.
Absolutely.
So we just wanted to discuss. I think all of us have played FIFA in some capacity. What are some of the best FIFA songs that we've enjoyed? I mean, I'll kick things off. I think back to FIFA 2013. I can't remember what the band's name is, but still, and I had a really good song on there.
Yeah, I know that tune.
Nah, I swear.
I've rinsed that. It's hard to remember the names, but it's the vibes that they give you. Or even certain games that you remember had like what's it that you just knew had a good soundtrack. So there's the FIFA with Ronaldinho in the what's it called?
07. What was it?
07.
Yeah.
AC Milan, yeah. That was hard.
Sick. That was sick.
I even like 03. I think 03 might be the first one I bought, and it had Miss Dynamite T on there.
Yeah.
And that song was classic, you know what I mean?
Oh, what was that one that goes? What's that coming over there? What was that one? That's like 05.
Yeah, 05,
yeah. 05 is something class. But the thing with the FIFA soundtrack, the one that was like, the one that I loved the most, just for different reasons, was the FIFA 19 one. Just because
19, you know,
there were artists there that I was like, nah, like that I was listening to a year before, like OJ Radical, and I was like, man, these guys are sick, but like not that many people know of them. And then next year, and then FIFA comes out, and then the songs there, and then all of a sudden everyone's on Octavian. Kanye Radical's doing bits and everything, and then and I was like, shit, man, if I could be like these guys, if I could get my song this, and then the next year it happened. So that's why that one is very, very iconic for me, because it's
FIFA
like
must have the finger on the pulse.
The
Definitely,
people who put them together are really on their job, man. Because that 19 one, I'm glad you said 19, because that's been the best one soundtracks for a while. Like they had Burst on there. Had a couple other people on there as well. Like that really went in.
How does that come about? Like, how's FIFA get in contact with you and say, "Oh, we'd like to put this song on the game"?
It's mad because they reached out end of 2018 about using my track Medusa for their Christmas campaign, and I thought, that's sick. But then my producer was too slow sending stems or whatever. And then that kind of slipped away, and I was gutted. I was like, shit, man. So as soon as we had Ozone recorded, I actually recorded it with that in mind. Like it was obviously a long shot, but then I was like, nah, listen, let's just send this to them. I actually sent another track as well. I was like, nah, let's send this to them. Like if they wanted to use it for the, Christmas campaign, surely they'll have an Easter campaign or something like that. I wasn't even thinking of the soundtrack. I was just thinking like, let's just open that door again. And they didn't get back for a while, and then they came back around March. I'm like, yo, we want to use this track here for the in-game soundtrack and everything. I was like, and then I was on an NDA for months. I couldn't say anything, and everyone was like, oh, no, wait, like, how's the music going? I was like, don't worry about
I can't say it.
You have to keep it silent.
Yeah, for real. So what's that period? So did they make you sign something when they're like, yo, with the NDA, or is it just they have to trust you?
No, they send in an email, and they say everything in this email is fully confidential, and if any something about, basically in a nutshell, is if the information gets out to the public, then they withhold the right to retract their offer or whatever. And I was like, nah, you don't have to tell me that. I basically just wiped out my memory for about 7 months.
Smart.
7 months.
That's a long time, man.
That's for real.
Yeah, for real.
I mean,
hush.
For real. Is it? I mean, it's just interesting because the soundtrack to anything can be so important. So it's just interesting that, the soundtrack to a FIFA can really bring about memories, if that makes sense. So even just games in general, like, I think of, SmackDown versus Raw for me when I was younger, and that used to have a banging soundtrack. I guess it's just interesting to see. Is there any other games that we played that we thought, wow, that soundtrack stayed in our memory?
Yeah.
FIFA Streets, a couple of them.
Yeah.
Saints Row.
The GTAs as well, I'd say.
Yeah, the GTAs.
Sure.
There's so many. It's a nice thing to be a part of. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, did you shoot the video in London?
No, I was actually in Dublin in Piercy. Flash, shout out to them.
Because that's sick. Like it proper looked like a estate. So I was thinking to myself, maybe it's somewhere like in Ends, but the hair that is in Dublin's interesting to me.
Yeah. Because we have those kind of things as well, like those kind of areas. It was kind of very central location. That's why we wanted it as well. And it was nice aesthetic as well. Like, I'm not from there. But the people there were kind of gassed to even have
be a part of that.
something happening in the area, because they don't really get a lot of, you know, stuff going on there. So yeah,
the video's a vibe, man. I like it. It's hella, like, the word I'd use for it is jiggy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just going with it, and the girls all dancing and shit. I fuck with it heavy, man, for real.
So, who are your idols in music? Like, who do you look up to get that inspiration, that flavor, that vibe in your music?
You know, from a creative standpoint, I say I have a good few, but those are just like people that I look up to. But the thing is, I try not to idolize, you know, people too much, because you don't really know them. You know what I mean? You might know someone's music, but so I keep it very kind of on the creative side and all, because with all the shit that's been happening recently, you don't really know who's who, what's actually going on. You get me? But I think Fela Kuti's always been my absolute idol, like, in terms of just what he stood for, the way he transcended music, and what he was using his platform for, and just everything in general. People that I look up to in terms of, like, on the creative side of things, we like J. Cole, Burna Boy, Damian Marley, Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is just the GOAT, in my opinion. He's just, his catalog is ridiculous. And those be my main ones. But I say on top of all of that has to be Fela, just from the grassroots.
Because I'm seeing Mr. West in the background, and I'm thinking to myself,
oh yeah.
Mr. West is in the building.
Wake up, Mr. West.
He's in the building for sure, fam.
Joe he's a sicko. Creative, he's a sicko. And you know, I should have put his name there. It's actually, I look actually a bit stupid. I have him on the wall. I didn't mention his name, but he's definitely, his catalog as well, ridiculous.
Unreal.
I think from a creative point of view, absolutely.
Yeah, really, he's entering that. You've got to separate the man from the music camp of people, for real. I mean, we'll get into that, but he's been moving reckless. I guess
R. Kelly fucked it up for me, but he fucked it up for everybody.
Oh boy,
everyone. Ain't nobody stepping in the name of love no more.
I swear.
Well, to be honest, I've heard that in a few weddings, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, listen,
Oh,
I've
man.
heard that in a few weddings. Like,
I
was like, yo, is the DJ serious?
I'm going
for about 2 years. I haven't heard R. Kelly anywhere.
What's the one that they love to play in the club? How can this
Ignition, isn't it?
Ignition remix. They ain't coming out.
No. My body.
Left leg starts twitching. That's it, man. You can't help yourself.
I swear.
He's the worst. So what I want to know is, or what I want to get into is a bit of, like, your heritage. So obviously you're Nigerian, but you've grown, a lot of your life has been in Ireland as well. What's that experience been like? Because that's not something a lot of people can say.
It's mad, because when I was growing up in Nigeria, I was actually with my Jamaican grandparents, my Jamaican grandma. So she kind of raised me. My parents were split up, but so I was in a Jamaican household in Nigeria for a very long time. And then that was already a mad contrast. Like, that was already a mad contrast. But then I went to boarding school in Nigeria, which was, was an experience in itself. I was there for like 5 years. Great experience though, but not one that I'd want to relive. But it was good, you know what I mean, in hindsight. Then coming to Ireland, it was mad, because I was like, I kind of reconnected with my mom and my siblings. And just, it was a different thing, because I'd spent some time in London before, in England. Sorry, I lived 1 year in England. I did year 3 there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, year 3, but I was really young. So when I came back to Ireland, I thought it was going to be something similar. But it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. Like, it's actually, it's very different culturally. Like, I think when you're looking from afar, you might think, oh yeah, Ireland, England, what's the difference? Nah, there's a lot of like cultural nuance, and I learned that very quickly. Having to acclimatize to everything here, society. I think my little brother who was here, he was like 2 years younger than me. He really helped me in that respect, because I came when everyone was still in school, so and then it was summer break, so I had no other way of socializing if not for him, and like taking me to like his friends and football, and we play a lot of football. Like, I got class at football that summer because of how much football I played. Just trying to understand the society now, and then getting into school then was another thing. But yeah, but I've always been someone who's very in touch with my roots as well, and I credit my grandparents for that, because they always made me aware of where I'm from, and never to be ashamed of it, and actually to just have to be prideful of that. Like, that's something to be proud of. They really made me aware of my heritage and just culture and my ancestry, my backgrounds, you know, the Great Benin Kingdom and all of that. And just, yeah, so I've always been very proud of that. And I didn't actually understand when I came here, because I came here at the time when it wasn't actually like, well, the kind of feeling I got was that people weren't actually trying to claim their African heritage too much.
That's a fact. Even here.
Around that time there, and then they were always like, people like, they wouldn't want to play Afro beats in public, or they wouldn't want to eat their certain food in school or whatever. And I was thinking like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, this is sick. Like, don't you understand? Like, you know what I mean? This is powerful that you have that cultural richness. You know what I mean? That these other people aren't privileged enough to have. So like, own that. But yeah, and then like, I think it was like about 4 years now, everything just kind of switched. Now everyone's wearing dashikis and all of that, and everyone's like Black Panther, you know, that kind of shit. Yeah. It's mad. But yeah, that's something I noticed. Anyway, I even forget the question, but I went to the mad.
But it's interesting, because I guess your experience would be very different to ours, because you just don't even think, it's not even, not that you don't think that Black people are in other parts of the UK, but you don't really take it in, you know. I'm sure, and their experience is going to be very different to ours, because chances are we're already the minority. I can't imagine how much more so it might be over there, or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and there's actually a really big community, and you know, you're helping to educate people even further, because now they know what the different cultures are like, and they know what's going on.
For sure, you know, that's something, you know, it's smart, because see, in the UK, you'd have people who are like third and fourth generation Black people and immigrants there, whereas in Ireland, we're very much behind. So we're first generation here. So it's like the people here, the population here, this is a new concept to them, you know, having Black Irish kids, you know, people who have spent their whole lives here or grown up here and identify as Irish. It's a relatively new concept to them. So I think systematically, it's not like we're not as like, we don't get, it's weird, you know, anything that we face in terms of racism and it's not systemic. It'll be more kind of blatant, physical, social type things, because they haven't had enough time to prepare.
It's ignorance. Or is it ignorance? Yeah.
Yes, it is ignorance. It is ignorance. And like, again, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know what I mean? There's parts of Ireland where you wouldn't see Black people at all, like at all. And then there's like parts where it's very clustered, a lot of Black people in that. And you know, it's just how it goes. And you know, I don't want it to end up like, because I've seen places like the UK, France, and how it happens is they kind of put all the Black people in certain areas, and unfortunately it's always areas that are, you know, riddled with like poverty and just lack of infrastructure and all of that, and then it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then it's just a lot of crime and all of that, and it affects the perception and then the opportunities, and then they justify the oppression in that way. I've seen that happen in other places, other parts of the world, and I don't want that to happen in Ireland. That's why my mission is to kind of control our cultural identity here and control our own narrative so that they don't have the opportunity to spin it their way. Because if they do, they'll spin in a way that benefits them and not us. So that's like...
That's so powerful. And I just out of interest, what do you think for you is the future of Irish rap? Because obviously you're starting to get popping now. What's the direction you want to see it heading?
I think it's gonna be as big as anywhere in the world. Like, and it's going to, the people who come after me are gonna take it way further than where I eventually take it to, and you know, like that people come after them, and etc. etc. So I think what's gonna happen is, like, you see the way in the UK you have like the forefathers of UK hip hop crime, etc. Like you have your Skeptas, your Wileys, your Wretches, your Gigs, etc. We're gonna have people who follow in that vein, and then it was like for a while we'll create the infrastructure that they'll know to follow, and we'll be able to create opportunities for them. Like I just started I just opened my own label there, JYellowL Records. So at the moment I'm my only artist, but then eventually at some point when I get JYellowL to a certain level where he can now be like an OG and actually put people on in a productive way, then I'll start taking on more people, making sure that they don't have to go through the shit that I had to go through.
It's about kicking down them doors, isn't it? And then letting people follow through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That is the dream, really. And obviously the people you're gonna let through, hopefully they can run with it as well. That's what you'd want.
For sure.
And you got to respect. I'm sure in due time you'll be considered an OG, and you got to respect and get that respect as well. So we're all probably going to be keeping our eye on the pulse of Irish rap and the progression it makes, not only just your career, but hopefully through your own ventures, you'll be able to bring people along for the ride as well.
For sure, man. For sure. Like that's ultimately, I think, the biggest achievement in life is being able to make other people's lives easier or better, you know, empower others as well for me. So that's definitely something that I want, that is going to happen. Like it just has to happen. It's a natural progression regardless, because at some point my music isn't going to be cool anymore to listen to. At some point there will be someone else who's younger, who has more energy, who's doing things in a way that's more catered to the audience, that, you know what I mean, and they'll be able to take it further than I did, etc. So
that's long term. That's long term thinking, man. A lot of artists live for the moment. Do you know what I mean? So to have that kind of idea in your mind already at such a young age, I think that's sick. Because you know, people are just like, you know, drop the next track. But that's a beautiful thing.
For sure.
On a side note, who produced On the Estate?
Chris Scabbs. That's my guy.
Chris Scabbs, yeah?
Yeah. He produces all of my stuff apart from like my collabs that I've done with other people. But he's sick.
That beat is hard, man.
Bro,
for real.
Cold.
Hard as bricks. I'm telling you. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I've rinsed that song. It's because I have like this. I have like a playlist, right? And I add songs to it throughout the year. And it came out maybe a few months ago.
Yeah,
man. And I refuse to delete it because of how hard the beat is, like, and how sick your bars are.
Some of those beats that as soon as it kicks in, you notice like something special is about to happen.
Yeah.
Shouts out to him, man. He did a good job on that.
Nah, shouts to Chris, man. He always matches my creativity. That's why we work well together. You know what I mean? He's open-minded in that sense. Sure.
I hear that. All right. So now I'm excited for the progression of Irish rap and everything you're gonna do with it. So I guess on to the next and I believe final topic. Just something that's been going on in the culture. Kanye West wilding out. I don't know if you all had, if you all saw the clips that came out.
Well, recently?
Yeah, last night.
Oh, swear.
So he went on a campaign rally in South Carolina, and it weren't pretty. So basically said Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, more or less. And then he just burst into tears crying at the thought of potentially having aborted his child, basically. I'm not explaining it that well, but that's more or less what happened.
So I quote in it. So pretty much he was... this is exactly what he said. He said Harriet Tubman freed the slaves. Well, she didn't actually free the slaves. She just had the slaves work for other white people. And then the next clip, he was talking about how his father said he was too busy, and he said, his mother had to raise him, this and that. Then he was talking about his daughter, on how he was about to abort his daughter and kill his daughter. And he was talking about how they need to protect life. Now, pretty much what I could say is, I did quick research, like really, really quick research, and Harriet Tubman freed slaves. Yeah. And now, what Kanye West was supposed to say was, Harriet Tubman freed the slaves, and the slaves went and found work and made income and created wealth. Maybe not in their lifetime, but they passed wealth on to their next generation. Yeah, that's what he should have said, but he just said it out loud, and people just looked at him funny. And
I'm done shooting him, Bell, man.
His second comment, I kind of understand, because he was talking about his third comment, he was talking about abortions and how it's not really, like, if we're to really go deep into abortions, like, especially in the Black community, I mean, it's something that is going on that is actually, it's horrible. Like, the rate of how many babies are dying, through abortions. And I'm not talking about the people who have been raped. I mean, personally, for me, abortion to me is a kill. Like, and some people may find that offensive. That's just my opinion. But I'm not talking about the people who have been raped. Some of them, they make the difficult decision to go and abort a baby. Right? It's just the people who go and do that. Because I feel like Black people can be powerful in numbers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's more of us, then there's a lot more we can do. There's a lot more we can build. There's a lot more wealth we can create.
I hear that.
Like, in some ways, I feel like, Planned Parenthood, the very beginning, the foundations was to destroy Black people and was to kill Black people. And that's how, they elevated and evolved themselves into something where there's abortion clinics all over these certain communities, so on and so forth. So for Kanye West to be crying out and saying, listen, I almost killed my daughter, I think at that moment he appreciated that, like, life is precious. And the same daughter he almost killed is the one thing that changed his whole perspective of women. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to shoot Kanye West Bell. It's just the way he said things, it just didn't make sense.
But that's what he's been doing for several years now. And I don't know, man. There comes a time when you have to look at yourself in the mirror a little bit and just be like, just saying it. I think you can say what he said about Harriet Tubman, and we can dress it up however we want, but there's certain people in history I just don't think you should speak on in a way that could be misinterpreted, if that makes sense. Like, there was no need to mention her. He just can't run for president.
Yeah, what was the context? Like, why did he bring up Harriet Tubman so...
I don't know. The video's not really been put out in the sense that there's what you see is what you get. But either way, there's no context that's right, in my opinion, to say that. It's not something that needs to be said, if that makes sense. It's what's scary is that he's clearly going through something.
I think
and
he needs help, man, at this point.
Yeah.
I just think he needs help. Because if you look at the evidence of the past 2 or 3 years, I just think it all points to the fact that he just needs to either stop being in these public situations and public speaking, full stop. Shouldn't be running for the presidential election, full stop. He just needs to, continue to build his brand, continue to do music. I mean, I'd rather him just produce, but that's just personally me at this point, because I don't think his lyrics are very good. But I'm just saying, in general, I think he's going for an episode right now. I don't think anything he's saying needs to be dissected, because it's clearly a man that needs help, in my opinion. But
the man came through with a different trim as well. It's just like, what are you doing?
That trim was not. Basically, bro, he's put 2020 in his scalp.
He's really trying to run, man. He's really trying to run.
So he went into the barber and said, "Yo, boss, give me the 2020." Yeah? How does that?
Give me the 2020 no vision.
The thing is, he's a smart individual. It's just that right now, these epiphanies, these are the things. I mean, in the Bible, it pretty much says slow to speak and slow to wrath. My man just needs to slow down. This presidential election, all of a sudden, 2020, you want to do it now. Like, just do 2024 when you have at least a lot of time to plan. You have a lot of time to think. Do you get what I'm saying? And you have a plan of like what he has, like a plan of like building up this ranch. He has a plan of trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States. He has a plan to produce more shoes, 1 or 2 albums here and there, executive produce. He has loads of plans. And my man just says all of a sudden, hey, 2020 elections. It's like, no, you need to slow yourself down.
For real, slow your roll.
Because I think that's what really the situation is. Because what he was speaking, I understand from a point of view that many people just took it for face value and just like, what is he saying? He's just talking rubbish. If you really break it down and dissect it, he's saying, right now I'm receiving epiphanies and I'm thinking to myself, listen, life is precious.
But okay, fair enough.
Harriet Tubman, that
surely you have to think.
You have to exactly. You have to be slow to speak, because my man was just speaking. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I mean, Jay, after everything you've heard, what do you think? What's it? Because he's obviously someone. What's your stance on this?
I think Kanye has always been. He's always been like it's like, I don't know if it's the right way to use the word, but like trigger happy when he has eyes on him. That's something that I've just kind of seen over and over from Kanye. I think everyone else has seen as well. I think he definitely thinks faster than his words come out, than his mouth does. But like, it's a tricky one, because the thing with I don't understand the context. I mean, you said it was a rally and all. Like, I need to go back and watch that before I can really understand what's happening. The thing with Harriet Tubman, I don't think should be like, I don't see the point in coming at Harriet Tubman. Like, what are you doing? Like, drawing her out or something? I don't get that. But I need to.
I'm sending dishes to Harriet Tubman.
Like, honestly, like me. She's actually
trying to make a point, and then he just digressed, and it was just like,
it's a stream of consciousness. It's not like, well thought out, structured speech.
I think he needs a speechwriter. I think he needs a speechwriter.
100%.
A script writer.
I swear to God, I actually think he needs a speechwriter.
No, he does, because it's ridiculous, and he's got something to say, and maybe is it hypocritical? We like it when he speaks his mind out, like, without thinking. When he said George Bush doesn't care about black people, he'll champion that, and that was that was off the cuff, because you look at Myron's face.
Honestly, the guy.
So I don't know, but I think you just got to be smart. I think he's seen it work his whole career, and now he wants to take certain liberties or risks.
Yeah,
it's tough. I don't.
Because you could sit down and then watch all of his interviews, right? From start to finish, he's making sense, right? You take certain things just out, he looks super wild. He looks like he needs to be in a mental asylum. you watch all of his videos from start to finish, there is frustration, there is concept, and in some videos there's clarity. In this one, he just digressed, and then he just started talking, and then he had epiphanies when you're supposed to be doing a presidential election. Now, fair enough, Kanye West president for 2020, I don't see that happening. I see that you have great ideas and you have good intentions. It's just, if you're off the rail like that, you're just gonna push the button. You see the red button on the side, you're just gonna push it just for the fun of it. Like,
I don't even know, like, of all the rappers that exist, I don't know what makes Kanye think he's the one. Like, I'll vote for the cast of Fast and Furious before I vote for him. Like, it's just not making sense.
Imagine he wins it, though. Like, imagine he pulls up the upset that Trump pulled off.
Boy,
I wouldn't be surprised with that country. They're trying to put themselves in a situation.
Like, I wouldn't put anything past, because you see, like, Trump, he's a demagogue, so he says, like, these outrageous things that appeals to, like, certain demographic, which like just happens to be a very large part of the population in America. So it could be a similar thing of, you know, like, to us kind of people here, it sounds like, oh, outrageous and all of that, but there could be people who, you know, find sense in that, you know what I mean, and who they actually could be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. After Trump, I don't think I can write anything off. Like, if Kanye won like the 2020 elections, I'd actually just
I do not know who's rocking with a Harriet Tubman quote like that. Like,
honestly.
But you'd be surprised. America is a vast land. Someone in North Dakota is like, yo, that's facts. This man's
I swear, sorry, like, that's facts, bro. Like, I swear, I've been saying this.
She's a fraud.
I swear. Nah, if Kanye wins 2020, man, I'm saying Dave Chappelle 2024.
Facts.
Fact. Like, man.
Facts.
Why not?
Where's Ja Rule at a time like this?
Where's Ja Rule?
Forget Ja.
Where is Ja?
Rule, man?
I'm looking for some information Ja Rule might not have right now.
Who gives a fuck about Ja Rule at a time like this?
Trying to dance and spit to death.
Hear from Ja Rule.
Classic, man.
Oh, God.
Go.
Hey, listen, if Dave Chappelle was in the White House, I need him to, like, have stories when he gets out and just be dumb shit, like when he went to Prince's house. No, he didn't go to, but, like, you know when Charlie Murphy went to Prince's house?
Yeah.
Game blouses. That's the type of energy I need.
100%.
But, does anyone else have anything to say on Kanye and his antics?
He gave us classics albums, but I can't rock with this, man. He gave me my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, but I just can't I can't shoot him bell no more, man.
I'm trying to just play devil's advocate at the moment and just try to give up bad review.
Big H needs to come down from heaven.
You know, the thing is, he's on my wall, man. In fact, on my door. Do you know what I mean? So, like this guy's watching me every day. Like, I look to him, and when I have writer's block or whatever, creative block, I look there and then I get inspired. You get me? I can't just write him off like that. But like I said, look, you know what I mean? Some people, you know what I mean, just, I don't know, like, I think maybe everything isn't for everyone, you know what I mean? Maybe Kanye West might just be showing us he's not president so material, you know what I mean? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for some answers Kanye West might not have right now.
Exactly.
You ain't got the answers, Jay.
You ain't got the answers, yeah. That's a good one.
I said, you ain't got the answers, Jay.
But Jay, thank you for coming on, man. It's been much appreciated, bro. Show people all the socials so they can find you, find that music.
Yeah, for sure. So it's JYellowL on IG. It's at real JYellowL on Twitter, JYellowL on Facebook, if anyone's still out there. Snapchat as well, JYellowL. Across the board, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. New music soon. 22nd. I don't know when this is going to be out, but 22nd of July, new music, album coming this year. There's just a whole lot of stuff going on.
Love that,
What's
man.
the album sound like? What we going with?
Oh, man, there's so much. There's
Is
just
it vibes?
it's vibes. It's vibes. It's pop. Like I don't want to toot my own horn, but if I was to say anything about the album, I'd just say it's powerful because every time I've listened to it from start to finish, I've just always felt shit. Like there's just so much information there, and you just leave with a different thing. And I think one thing I made sure I did well was state my intent very clearly. Like I made sure I let everyone know what my purpose was for this album. So, you know, I'm pretty proud of that.
I'm looking forward to it, man. 100%.
Yeah,
Next time you tour in London, we'll be there, bruv. I need to see that energy live.
For sure.
We'll come to Ireland. What's the Irish girl saying?
Listen, man, you have to see for yourselves.
I'm trying to get flew out.
Yeah, you have to see for yourself. You know that was there.
I heard that. That little accent. They already know what time it is when I come around. But
is that you?
Yeah, you already know.
Dubs, yeah. I see you, yeah. I see you shining with the confidence.
That's it, man. Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
All love. Thank you once again for coming on. We're so happy we was able to get it resolved and get you on. Episode will be out soon. Listen to all the music. Jules is your latest single out at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. And then obviously you can catch him on FIFA as we discussed. New album coming out soon and singles. So he's got a lot coming out. Other than that, peace.
Peace, cool, man. Thank you guys for having me. Love.
Appreciate you.
Take care.